It's feeding right now, so I will tell you when it's fully up and streaming.
I see it appear on our website right now, Deb.
Okay, you're good.
Good evening. This is the regular September 15th Board of Education meeting. At this time, I'll call it to order at 6:34. First, we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, roll call. Lee,
Here.
Anthony,
Here.
Homer here, Tim,
Here.
Shane.
Here.
Items from the board members. First of all, I would like to thank the FFA for the initial essential goodies bag that they provided for the staff as well as the administration and the board. It is appreciated. I'm glad that they thought of us. Anyone else got things to bring up tonight?
I want to throw out a thank you as well, Homer, and I'm sure everybody else agreed, all our staff and administration. And I think we had considering circumstances, a pretty good opening to our school year. Heard a lot of good things, and a lot of parents, good things come from them as well. So I just want to thank them for all the extra duties they've been doing and to provide a clean environment for our kids. And hopefully we can continue to have a safe beginning to our school year.
Anyone else? Anything else? All right. Anybody that has questions, email them or forward them to Mr. Hannick. And we will get to them before the end of the meeting. At this time, we're going to pass the treasurer's report until Mr. Smeltzer arrives. So let us go to Mr. Hannick with the superintendent's report.
All right, I'm going to start off my report, and I want to jump down to item number 4, which is a levy update. And I wanted to do a quick PowerPoint just to kind of review where we're at. I'm going to share my screen with everybody so it can be seen.
Okay, go for it.
Okay. Share. Let me know if that you can see it. What do you see?
Let us rise as one.
Okay, and we're in the right place. Okay, I want to go down through this PowerPoint real quick. Go NC Eagles. Always supportive of the Eagles. This here first slide is what the proposed tax levy additional North Central Local School District language looks like on the ballot. A majority affirmative vote is necessary for passage, but basically, shall a levy be imposed by the North Central Local School District for the purpose of avoiding an operating deficit in the sum of $420,000 per year, and a levy of taxes to be made outside of the 10 mil limitation estimated by the county auditor to average 3 92/100 mils for each dollar of valuation, which amounts to 39 2/10 cents for each $100 of valuation for a period of 5 years commencing in 2020, first due in calendar year 21. That's kind of the language of what it looks like. What will the money collected from this levy be used for? Operating expenditures. Our expenditures paid for through the school district's general fund. The levy will continue to fund day-to-day operational expenses. These include the following: transportation, utilities, technology, textbooks, consumer materials, salaries and benefits for all staff, contracted services, including special education, mandated costs, including testing and inspections, and supplies, including custodial and maintenance. The thing about this is we happened to be on the ballot in March when everything hit. So we were one of the many school districts that were on the ballot. And so based on that, we did not pass our levy. So therefore we're putting up another one here coming up in November, and it's going to be based on property tax. And it will be only for a 5-year period. Why are we asking for this levy now? It's pretty simple. The district has operated 16 years without any new operating taxes. We have experienced rising costs due to inflation and healthcare premiums. Additionally, we have lost 9.4% in property tax revenues over the past 3 years due to property tax reimbursement being phased out. The district's most recently lost over 120,000 at the end of the fiscal year 2019 due to state cuts related to COVID-19. We will also lose another 120,000 fiscal year 20 for the same reason. What is an emergency levy? School districts may place on the ballot an emergency levy if they determine their present revenues are insufficient to provide for the emergency requirements of the school district, or in order for the school to avoid an operating deficit. Emergency levies are not subject to House Bill 920, but are adjusted by the County Budget Commission to ensure the district receives the exact dollars as approved by the voters. The Ohio Administrative Code prohibits the emergency levies to be included in the 20 mil calculation, and the maximum number of years an emergency levy can be levied is 10. We put it on for 5. This was our 5-year forecast, and the treasurer, and this was at the end of fiscal year 19. The end of fiscal year 19, when we were looking at this, we finished at $12,544 to the good. We were projecting for fiscal year 2020 to be in the hole negative 70,671. And then the budget goes on from there. So I wanted to put this slide up here because this is important as this board was making decisions to put this on the ballot. This is the actual where we actually finished. If you saw on the other one, it was a projection of 70,000. We actually ended up 91,110 in the hole. And so the projection that we had for 70 ended up 91. And then we're looking at 180 at the end of this fiscal year, 377, 608 in the hole. And if we project all the way out. So I got a close up on projection of that particular slide, and it just shows in the red. And then down here, the 939, we're completely out of our cash. We have no cash by the last year of this projection, but we're focusing in right here at the 180,000. And that's what the purpose of the levy is, to allow us to continue to operate the way we are operating. Why are we not asking for this levy to be continuing? Because it's a 5-year emergency levy. The district has operated 16 years with no operating taxes. We see the need to have money to continue to fund our district now and into the future. We see no change in the way the state continues to take away funding from school districts. We believe our community will support a levy that is not continuing in order to hold us accountable for the next 5 years of operations to see where we end up. I have some specific questions related to a school district emergency levy. Where can I look for additional answers? I would like people to contact me or Mr. Smeltzer here at North Central Local Schools. You can contact us by email or call us on the phone. We are available. This school district income and property tax rates for calendar year 2019 kind of show the whole county, every school in the county, and we happen to be the ones in the red. This is where we currently stand, and this assumes a median house value of $103,200 and earned taxable income of $61,731, which are the district's median values. So taking that information and trying to figure all property and income taxes paid from living in the respective school district does not include city income tax, county sales tax, or property taxes not for the school district. North Central Local School figures with a new property tax levy, we assume 3.92 mil as estimated to be presented on the November 3rd, 2020 ballot. This source was the Ohio Municipal Advisory Council and U.S. Census Bureau. So without a levy, with those conditions, our low tax base is 1,178. Even if we do pass the levy with the new money, we're up to 1,320 compared to Eden, Edgerton, Central Local, Montpelier, Mill Creek, West Unity, Bryan, and Stryker all collect more. So that's kind of the situation we're in just in our county. School district income tax rates. Every single school district in the county is listed here with on top of not property tax, they also have income taxes at every one of the school districts in this county. Traditional income tax at Bryan at 1% taxes every single person in there, no matter if you're retired or not. Central Local has 1.25%. Edgerton Local has 1%, all traditional. Eden has an earned income, which means people that are retired don't have to pay. Mill Creek West Unity has a 1% income tax. Montpelier has an earned income tax of 1.25. North Central, none. Stryker has a 1.25 and a 0.25. They're both traditional, so they got 1.5%. So that's just kind of where we stand in the county. School district tax comparison, and this is based on an average income of $50,000 for Williams County and living in a house with a market value of $100,000, so that all districts can be assessed equally. Information is from the Williams County Auditor. If you look down the tax bill, even with a new levy right here in the green, we are still the lowest, and without it, we're even lower. So we're getting a great value for what we have. So, I mean, in this, we'll have this PowerPoint available out on the website. And this is just an example of how you calculate it. A house market value of 100,000 in North Central versus West Unity, and you go down and you do the math. The total taxes per year are $1,547.68 in the Mill Creek West Unity District and $1,217.04 in the North Central Local School District. There's some key points to note. This sample is based on owner-occupied residential property. There's a 10% reduction on non-commercial properties and 2.5% reduction on owner-occupied properties on qualifying levies. Using a percentage of 87.5 is based on these reductions. Voted millage is what the district passed at the original ballot issue. What we actually are collecting is our effective millage. This happens due to property valuations increasing, which causes millage rates to decrease. When passing millage, we are actually passing a dollar amount we will collect over the years of the levy. So this is our millage breakdown. Our general fund millage is 55.7. We actually collect 27.32. Our bond retirement is 1.2. Our permanent improvement is 4.1. And vocational, which everybody pays vocational millage. Our total millage breakdown is 65.2 and effective is 35.82. North Central Local Schools strive to provide an outstanding educational experience for our children. Remember to vote on November 3rd. And there is our awesome Board of Education who stands behind our kids in our community every single day, working hard for the betterment of our schools and our district. There's our picture of our elementary staff where the magic starts. There's another, you'll see that on the inside of the elementary as you come in. There's pictures of each grade level and kids. That's in our cafeteria, auditoria area of the class of 1919 clock that looks over our students as they eat lunch and activities in the auditoria. This is just a reminder what the ballot issue looks like. One school, one community, one heartbeat. That's a look at our North Central complex. And that's all I have there. So if anyone's got any questions, I just wanted to go through quickly.
Bill, I do have Just
Okay.
one thing. I done a little research of my own,
Okay.
and you can touch on it too. Like you said, our school does survive on this millage through the property tax collected.
Yes.
I had emailed Vicky and then went to Kelly Gray out of curiosity what the delinquencies was each year over the last 5 years. And I mean, we budget on millage, which is supposed to be guaranteed, but if people don't pay their bill, we don't collect and we have to do without. And, you know, you talk about the 9.4% lost in property tax revenues due to that reimbursement. I mean, over the last 5 years, we've also lost out on $60,000 to $90,000 a year by what she gave me in property tax collections.
Correct.
You know, so that's a huge number as well. We're doing without. It's out of control, you know, with us. We can't collect that. It's has to do with the county and the commissioners. But I mean, we're dealing with a lot of cuts and we're surviving. But it's getting tough. And like you say, we need to get this levy passed and we need to invest in our kids' futures. So they are our generation for tomorrow and hopefully going to take care of us for the future to come. But that's all I had. I just thought it was pretty interesting, you know, on top of everything else we've lost out on. That's a pretty huge number per year to also not have come into this district.
Yes, that's all true. And here again, we're just going over the facts and we're just presenting, you know, just where we are. And that's about all we can do. And we just hope that people will recognize, because it's a great school district. It's a great place to raise kids. There's a lot of hardworking people here. We have a great Board of Education, very supportive, and we just need to keep it going long after all of us that are currently on these screens are gone and doing something else. We want this school district to be surviving. We're not selfish to say just for today. This is for the future of this school district. And with everything that's happened with COVID-19 and the type of school year that we've had and all the adjustments that we made, people have been resilient. Kids have been resilient. The parents have been resilient. And we're still chugging along. I know we're gonna beat this and it's gonna go into the future, but I will guarantee you that education will look different 5 years from now based on these last 2 years. Well, this last 6 months, it's been about 6 months almost to the day since this all started. And I think if we can come out on the other end stronger, which we will, this is going to be a great place to live. And it is a great place to live and raise kids. And if we can get more people coming here, and industry and all that stuff. So thanks for letting me do that. I wanted to get back to some of the other items on the agenda. I just want to remind everyone that Mr. Smeltzer is late due to a golf match, and when he gets here, we can get back to him. Let's talk about our enrollment. Our enrollment as of 9/11, which was Friday, is up to 601. Of course, last year on 9/17/19, we were at 622. So we are coming back up. I would like to point out that we have, because of the choices that we gave for our community, we gave people the choice to come in person, or we gave a remote learning option, and we have 82 kids that are currently on the remote learning option. And we are day to day, week to week. So we've been in here about, 3 weeks. And we have 82 that some of them will come back at the end of the semester, and some of them may stay on for the rest of the year, but they do have an option to be home where parents feel safe for them. So we do have the homeschooled numbers. That's another number. There's 45 kids that are homeschooled as well in that number, between the 82 and then there's 45 that are homeschooled. So we have some thank yous. We continue to get support for our kids, and in the cafeteria itself, we had another donation from Terry Oxinger for $500 to the lunch program to make sure our kids eat. We also had another one for $50 from Harong Kai, which is Denise Kai, which would be our school psych, to our No Child Goes Hungry. And I don't know if you currently listen, but starting as of today, our summer option for food, we were able to offer breakfast and lunch starting today, free to everybody because of the state grant that we have. And so we're going to do that up until the funding runs out, which is going to be around Christmas. It may be sooner. So we started that today, and we saw the numbers go up for lunch and breakfast today. And next month, I'm going to have Rob come in, and he's going to do a presentation to the board of where we are in the cafeteria after we've been doing that for about a month to see where our numbers are at. So that's going on in the cafeteria. We also had a donation of masks. Pam Waters and Janet Powers, they donated donation of masks that they have made for our staff and students, and we appreciate the kindness. We have plenty of masks. People have donated. We've got COVID funding that has helped with some of that. So people do step up and help in different ways. And so we are appreciative of our community. Let's see. I want to remind everybody that there's a first reading of the policy revisions for Neola policies. This is your first reading, and there's a whole bunch of them in there. You need to look over those, but it's listed as like starts off policy 15, 20, 30, and so on and so forth. So make sure you look at those. I want to remind everybody that our next board meeting is October 20th, and I'm going to have Rob come in and talk about the cafeteria. I am checking into, for the next meeting after that, probably November, I'm going to get somebody in to do some presentation to the board on random drug testing for our athletes and extra and co-curricular, just to do a presentation of what that might entail and what that might cost. So we'll get a presentation on that in November or December, just a presentation. Next thing on the list, we have some board members that have, well, we have a number of them that have numerous years of service. And I found out that Lee Boothman, who's on year number 11, by the way, who came in, I believe it was it June of a year, Lee, you came? And so she's been on
June of 09.
June of 09. She's been here 11 years. And OSBA is recognizing board members that put in time on boards. These aren't glamorous jobs. This is hard work. This is time away from family. This is decisions to affect the whole school district. And you know, when people serve in any kind of position like that, it's an honor. And I want to thank Lee for 11 years. Probably doesn't seem like 11 years. It went by quick. And so she's got recognition from the OSBA. Also, Mr. Homer Hendricks over here, he's getting his 15-year award, but he's actually been on the board for 23 years, serving the school district in many different ways. And neither of these people jump up and down and try to get any kind of accolades, or they don't, you know, try to say, I'm the greatest or anything like that. They just do their job. They're great board members. They're great people in the community. They give back to the kids and the staff. And I just want to thank them for being great people. And I'm glad that I have an opportunity to work with them during the time that I have an opportunity to be here with North Central, because none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. None of us are guaranteed next week. And it's been an honor, and I appreciate your service and the things that you do for kids and the hard decisions that have to be made that you people are willing to step up and make. And I think our community needs to be aware of that.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Thank you.
That's the least that we can do. Now, I wanted to update everybody on where we are with COVID-19 spending. Our spending update is we're approximately $50,000 as of Friday. We did get COVID money from the state at approximately 35,500. And we're looking at some other ways to cover the rest of it, but that's currently where we stand with COVID-19 funding. That is all I have, except for I wanted to answer a couple questions since I have an opportunity to do so. There was 2 questions that I was given. Let's see, the first one was, with the possibility of a vaccination for COVID-19 being available soon, will the North Central Board and administration require their students to get the vaccine to attend school? And if so, will Ohio Revised Code 3313-671 vaccine exemption form from public schools still apply? Well, first of all, we don't require the flu shot. We have exemptions for people that don't want to get shots. So unless the state, I assume, and I can't speak for the 5 board members, but unless the state comes down and says we have to do it for some way, I don't know that we've never even talked about that. And let alone there's really not a vaccination yet. So, I mean, and is anybody, I mean, am I saying anything that anybody would disagree with?
Nope, not at all.
I agree with you 100%.
I agree as well.
Okay, and then the second question, it says, with concerns of contact tracing via school-age children and the health department, if a child shows symptoms of COVID-19, how many symptoms on the list warrants concern, and who is first contacted? If the school nurse is not there, who makes the determination of those symptoms? By the way, these are very good questions, whoever asked them. Do appreciate them. If there's at least, well, first of all, the school nurse is here 3 days a week, and we get a hold of the school nurse even if she's not here, but we do have somebody in there on the other 2 days to help with this, both in the offices with both secretaries, both principals. They have become our quasi nurses and healthcare people in the office. But if we see things like sore throats, coughs, stomach ache, and temperature, those are things we look for before we would call home and have some kind of an assessment done. But if you have something, anything involved with breathing or having trouble breathing, that would be all we'd need is one symptom of that before we would call and call the parents and have them do an assessment. It has very little to do with tracing, but we want to get them home and get the kids with the parents and let the parents make the decisions on what they do. Mr. Moore, Dr. Rosevink, does that sound like what we're doing? I mean, I want to make sure in your offices that's exactly what's happening, so that when somebody asks me these questions, which are good questions, I want to make sure I'm giving them that's the best information I can give based on what I know right now.
That's what we do in the high school, junior high school office. If we even think, especially the fever, especially if they have a fever, we don't go any further than that, and we send the child home, or we call the parents. Sore throat with no fever, that's a little different. We may hold out for just a little while, but if they have both of those, the parent is contacted immediately. So.
And that doesn't mean they have COVID-19. That means they just might have a cold, they go home, they become fever-free without medication, then they can come back.
Correct.
And that's our goal, and we've done a pretty good job of keeping people apart, and it's not perfect. Not going to tell you that, but we certainly are trying.
Yeah, it's the same on my end as well. We have an aide in the office helping out a couple days a week as well, but fever's the big one. And actually our attendance has been very good, and students coming down to the nurses station office, it's been limited, to be quite honest, this year. I've been somewhat surprised, but fever's the big thing. Get a hold of the parents, talk to them, have them come in, pick them up, then we obviously turn things over to mom and dad at that point.
Okay, those are great questions. And then I'm surprised I didn't get asked this question, but we have a remote learning day, and both principals are going to touch on this on September 25th. And our plan for that remote learning day is to have the preschoolers, the kindergartners, and the first graders actually attend school, just like a normal day. Come in as normal, and then it's going to be remote learning for 2 to 12. And the buildings and the teachers are going to provide specifics as we go along. But the goal is to make sure and to find out where our strengths and weaknesses are in our Google Classroom and the different things that we're doing. So just to reiterate, on the 25th, which is a Friday, we're going to send out buses to pick up preschool, kindergarten, first grade, just like we normally would. We're going to have lunch for those particular individuals, just like we normally would. They're going to have a regular day of school, and they're going to get actual technology training here. It's very difficult at those younger ages to send packets home when we can have them here. 2 to 12 is going to be remote learning. And just a reminder, our next board meeting just is the 20th, and at 6:30 on October. I don't have anything else.
Hey, Bill, one, to follow up on the questions you, had answered there.
Okay.
If a child's sent home with the fever, sore throat, is a doctor note required to come back, or just, once maybe the fever's broke or something like that, are they free to come back just on the parents' behalf?
Yeah, once they're fever free for 24 hours, then they're allowed to come back. Now, doctor's notes are always nice, but we know that we can't ask everybody to get a doctor's note. Is that accurate, principals? That's what our nurses told us. Now, if you come down with COVID-19 and you get tested and you're positive, and you're not going to come back until you're freed up of that, but we haven't had that yet.
Thank you.
Anyone else have a question for Mr. Hannick?
No, this-
Mrs. Roosevelt.
What?
Do you want,
I'm gonna let you go second instead of Mr. Moore.
Not fair. Oh, fine. Wait a minute, here it is. Basically reiterate what Anthony said, but the first few weeks of school, I was really nervous before school started because I was worried about masks. I was worried about the schedule because I did do the schedule a little bit different in the high school, junior high. I was worried about the teachers, the students. I was worried about just about everything, but fortunately, my worrying was unwarranted because the students and staff have been phenomenal in the masks and the schedule after we got used to it. And we still have once in a great while a student will go to the wrong class and they'll come to my office. I don't know where I'm supposed to be. That's not a big deal. We just get them where they need to be. We have gone to a modified block, and to my surprise, several teachers, not all of them, and not all of the students, but several have told me that they actually really like it. So I told my teachers in a meeting a couple weeks ago that we would keep researching it and keep tweaking it and keep thinking about it. Whether we do it again next year, I don't know, but it's a possibility. I am going to begin my observations and evaluations this week. Actually, I have 3 observations tomorrow, so I'm getting that process started with my teachers. In the past, during this meeting, the September meeting, I've always reported on the junior high fundraiser, but we didn't have one this year. So it's still up in the air whether we even are going to have one. We'll see how things progress. Number 4, we have in the high school, junior high and high school, I have approximately 53 students who have gone to full-time Nova. Mrs. Wyant on our end has been unbelievably phenomenal in setting this up and tracking the students' progress, because I get a report of how many minutes each student has been online, what they're doing, et cetera, et cetera. And she keeps very, very close track of that. Students are contacting her via email. So things are going well. I think some of them are finding that it's a little more difficult than it is here. More difficult than what they had thought anyway. So we made the stipulation at the very beginning that it was going to be for a semester here in the junior high and high school. We're sticking to it as much as we can, although I know I've had a couple of kids want to come back or want to go to Nova after they had been here. So we'll look, we have allowed that. September 25th is the remote learning day. Teachers and staff will be here. Students will not in 7 through 12. The purpose of this is just to make sure that even though our teachers are using Google Classroom here with the kids, the idea is that we need the kids to be home to see how this is working, whether they have Did you miss all of that?
Yes, you went on.
I had it live. Oh,
Yeah, you
Okay.
went on mute.
do you want me to start over?
Not all of it, just the last 25 words.
September 25th, the remote learning day. Teachers and staff will be in the building, but the students will not. Purpose of this is to practice, actually. It's why we call it a practice. And we need to see if the kids can get everything on their own, get into the Google Classroom. If there is connectivity at home, can they get on a Zoom meeting at home? That type of thing. And we're going to be doing that throughout the day. We hope that we don't ever have to go to remote learning again, but if we do, we want to be prepared and so that the kids can, it's almost a seamless thing because they're getting online here at school with their devices. They are using Google Classroom here at school, so they're used to it now. We want to make sure that that continues. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. Rosevink. Any questions for her this evening? Yeah, everything's good then. Thank you. Mr. Moore?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. A few updates from the elementary building. And I agree with Marcia and Anthony. Just it's been a real good start to the school year. And for me personally and the staff, it's just great to see the kids and have them back. So it just boils down to that. It's just wonderful to see them and have them back in the building as we start another school year. The students were very excited and pleased to see the upgrades to the playground. They love the concrete, the sidewalks, the fencing, the mulch, and boy, their eyes lit up on that first day out there at recess, just seeing all the improvements. So that was wonderful. Also, the students wrote me some thank yous, and I think Mr. Hannick received some as well, maybe forwarded you board members. But sixth graders, Mrs. Beauregard's class, wrote a bunch of thank yous just for the playground and all the updates and upgrades. So that was nice of them to do that. The staff donated approximately $170 to buy a few umbrellas out in the recess area. We've got 4 or 5 picnic tables out there, and that first week of school, it was a scorcher. It was in the 90s every day, and heat index pushing 100. So the staff pitched in, and where you got 4 umbrellas out there now, the students can get under and get some shade. Staying with the donation theme, a number of thank yous going out to community members and community organizations. The 20 picnic tables or so or more out front, the ones in back that I believe the village, the FFA might have built them, the village bought and donated them back, but they've been a great resource for educational purposes and whatnot. But they're coming in handy. The picnic tables, the Kunkel Brethren Church donated a number of school supplies. So we thank them for that. Katie Wells donated a number of masks to the staff and students. Lindsey Brown donated school supplies. Another former student here at North Central, Allie Newell, Lori Geiser, provided muffins and coffee to the staff members the first couple days of school. So all in all, just a tremendous amount of support from the community, and as we get going with another school year. The Elementary Nova program, as Mr. Hannick mentioned, and Mrs. Rosevink, we got approximately 40 students enrolled at this time in our program. Mr. Campbell, he's our teacher of record. He's doing a fine job with the program, but to be very honest, Nova at this grade level is just very new to us. We're still working out some details and fine tuning some things, but Digital learning for, first graders, second graders is very new to us, and I think the parents as well. I did send out a little informational letter the other day. Monday, I think it went out. Just some updates to the families. We have picture day scheduled for our NOVA students and families on the 21st of October. Also, at that time, at the end of the quarter, families can opt back into the traditional school setting at that time. So we're not waiting to the semester, but for our elementary kids that want to come back to the traditional school setting, they can do that at the end of the first 9 weeks, which I believe is right around October 15th. So a few NOVA updates there. As Mr. Hannick mentioned, and Mrs. Roosevelt, the 25th is going to be our digital learning day here in the district. Preschool through first grade, yeah, we're going to be in the building that day. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have recess. We're going to have our specials, just like a traditional day. I met with my staff. We talked. I don't know the gain and benefit at this point in time with a digital learning day with our students at that young of a grade level. I think it'd be more on parents to do some things and help, and we think we're going to get more out of a day of instruction with those kids here in the building with our preschool, kindergarten, and first grade. We will be doing some state assessments on that day, working on some digital things, as Mr. Hannick mentioned. So again, preschool, kindergarten, first grade will be in session on the 25th, 2nd through 6th. We'll be home practicing that remote learning, logging on to their email, their Google email, getting assignments uploaded in the Google Classroom. We may even do some Zooming, some new Zoom meetings, digital conferencing with our students on that day. So we've got a lot of things planned for that day with our students. And finally, once again, it's just great to have the kids back. The students are doing a great job. The staff's doing a great job. I was concerned, like Mrs. Roosevelt, with some things related to the mask and whatnot, but all in all, everyone's buying into it, and it's we're off to a very good start in the elementary.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Any questions for him this evening? Everything's good then. Mr. Wildlick.
All right, so I'm going to hit like some big things, then I'm going to kind of go through and give a summary of how all the individual sports are doing. So live streaming of events, Deb Myers has done a lot of work with that, and aside from I think maybe only one game where there was a technical issue or something, we've had every single home event live streamed. And I know I have people talking to me about the live streams, and they are able to see what's going on, and they appreciate that. So I just wanted to thank Deb publicly for that, and just say that that's been going well, and we're continuing to improve how we do it, and hopefully we'll keep getting better. And then just our fall plan is pretty similar to what it has been as far as limiting attendance, giving out passes to people. That's been going really well for the most part, and it's gotten better at every single event. There's a little bit of a learning curve, it seemed like, but I think at this point people get it. Masks are a big thing. Still have to wear them at every single event, whether it's inside or outside. I think there was a little bit of confusion at our outdoor events on whether or not they needed to be worn. So we're continuing to try to educate people on the fact that they still need to wear them even when we're outside. And then just we're starting to look ahead to what winter sports could look like being inside. We understand that could be a complicated issue and potentially a frustrating one for a lot of people. So we've already started trying to plan. We've laid out the gym and kind of looked at, depending on what percentage we're allowing in, kind of how we can have our gym set up and what seats can be used and stuff like that. So just kind of trying to be prepared, since we don't know what we're going to be told we're allowed to do. So kind of preparing for several different scenarios, and then so we'll be ready in case of any of them. As far as our fall sports, I'm just going to go down through the list. Most of these records are now wrong because a lot of these teams played tonight, but they should be pretty close. High school golf has an overall record of 23-13. They are 3-1 in the league. They have 6 kids playing, and a couple of highlights. One was they won our Eagle Invitational again. I know they won it the year before. I think it might be 3 or 4 years in a row that they've won our tournament. And we actually had the overall medalist, Zach Hayes, had the lowest score out of everyone there. And then this past Saturday, Colin Patton shot a 31 for 9 of the holes from his 18-hole round. And we are looking back through records to see how that compares to our other scores historically, because we don't have it written down somewhere, but it is definitely one of the lowest scores that has been shot in at least recent history at North Central. So just wanted to recognize him for that. Junior high golf, they've had 3 matches so far. There's only 2 kids doing that, so they don't have a team score. And in their second match, Kenneth Smeltzer was actually the medalist out of everyone. So that was exciting for him. And JV football, they have 16 kids playing. Unfortunately, we had one get hurt, but he is on track to make his recovery. And they are currently 0-2, but for good news, they do have a full schedule. So they have a full schedule of games to play. Junior high football has 14 kids, but I just found out there's one more that's going to be playing. As of today, he just turned in his physical, and we might have another one who just decided he would want to play, so that number might be higher. They are also 0-2 currently. High school volleyball, varsity is 6-1, 3-0 in the BBC. They have a 6-game winning streak. Kendall Bonney was the athlete of the week, not only for our school, but also for the Village Reporter. She's had a really good start to her season along with the rest of the team. The JV is 4-3. They're 2-1 in the BBC. And we have 21 girls playing high school volleyball. Junior high volleyball, they just played tonight. I haven't heard scores from that yet. But as of this morning, 8th grade was 1-2, and that's their league record as well. And 7th grade was 1-3, and that's what they were in the league. Just some teams don't have 8th grade teams, some teams don't have 7th grade teams, but they don't always both get to play on a night. There will not be a BBC tournament for junior high volleyball because teams aren't allowed to play multiple opponents in the same day, so we had to cancel that. So they will not have that this year. We were supposed to host it. We haven't decided yet if we'll host it again next year or not. And then high school cross country, they just had their 4th meet tonight, I think. And so far, it seems like all of our runners have improved from the first meet. And we have for sure 3 girls and 3 boys. There might be a 4th in each one, but not enough for either team to qualify as a team. So we're just a couple short, or 1 short there for each of them. And then junior high cross country, they've had 4 meets as well. And we've had a lot of kids improving their times dramatically. We have 1 girl and 5 boys involved. And actually, some of them had a chance to run a 3-mile course, which is a high school course tonight. And their times would actually be somewhat competitive in some of the meets. So really good job to those junior high kids. And then one other thing I realized I didn't talk about, we have a new 1,000-point scoreboard in the high school. The one we had was kind of getting pretty full for where it was at, so we've now moved it to the other side of the gym. Just wanted to make that public record in case someone walked in and wondered what had happened to it. It is now by the other scoreboard, and it now has it so we can slide the names in and out instead of having to screw and unscrew them from the wall when we get new ones. So that did get moved. And that is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Waldick. Any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I got a couple, Greg.
Okay.
Real quick, have we had any type of spot inspection? I know, I think you sent out stats. It was pretty interesting, and, for the people to know they are coming in, and observing our events, making sure people have masks and kind of rate percentage and
We have not, and from what I understand, we'd at least get a warning for one of our sports. So like if they would say they're coming to a volleyball game, I'd know that. But then they could happen to walk out and look at like if we had an outdoor event or something like that. We have not been inspected yet, but yeah, I guess basically the general thing from that survey was that half the schools were failing for a lot of these categories. Like, and I would say for us, our coaches and athletes have been doing an amazing job of following the regulations. I would be very surprised if we even got any notes for those. For us, it would be probably more where we would maybe fail would be fans having masks on the entire time. But I think we've been getting better with that as we've gone on. I've been noticing more and more masks at events. So, but yeah, we could get inspected. I haven't heard anything, but we haven't been yet.
all right. And then another little thing I observed at the end of the day here, and I wanted to say something, is I would say it's our football teams out on the practice field. I was back here doing some stuff, and the grounds are just littered with face masks, bottles, and trash. So I don't know if we can maybe get a trash receptacle out there and get on the coaches and the kids to pick up after themselves and respect the grounds and keep it clean.
Yeah, we can look at, I will talk to people about getting something out there for them. So they have something to throw stuff into. And I know also, I think we use that for elementary as well. So that gets used quite a bit in one day. So I'm sure it can end up being pretty messy. So we can definitely get something out there though for them and encourage them. And then I'll pass that along to coaches and try to make sure we're keeping it a little tidier out there.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you, Mr. Waldlook. All right, let's backtrack to Mr. Smelter now that he's here.
Okay, I've got 3 items for approval tonight under the Treasury report. Minutes from the August 11th, 2020 regular meeting, financial statements and investments from August, and the permanent appropriations for fiscal year 21, which that is a standard procedure every September that we approve the permanents in September. And going back to financial statements, investments, on your green monthly comparison sheet that I always do, I did want to mention, you can see that our revenue over expenditure seems to be quite a bit down so far through this, this part of the year compared to last year. Just wanted to point out that line 1.06, all other revenues. Last year, the Menards tax abatements, which are typically $450,000 in that range, came in August last year. It's not actually due until in the month of September. This year, it hasn't come in yet. So that's why you see the big decrease there. And I want to just point that out so everybody was aware that we should be seeing that here in the next couple of weeks from Menards. Next month, it'll reflect that and look better next month. So I do not have any other comments unless there are questions from you as the board, and I will do my best to answer those.
Thank you. Any questions? If there are no questions, then I will ask for a motion to approve the treasurer's report as presented.
I'll move.
Motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Shane. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee.
Thank you. And then going on to items from the recommendations from the superintendent, we need a resolution to approve the second reading of the proposed policy revision for PO 2266 and policy 3220 as presented in the August meeting. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Tim. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Second by Anthony. Any comments, questions? Call the
With,
roll, please. Oh, excuse me.
Bill, I emailed you. Did that get corrected in there? Or I wasn't sure if you got my email correct in that policy. It was typed up wrong. You're muted.
You were talking about the ones that we have currently coming out that are for review, correct? That's
Yeah, the one we're approving right now, they had that typo.
yes.
Okay.
At least I sent an email to him to fix it.
Okay, that's all I had.
Thank you, Anthony. Call roll, please.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee, Anthony.
Yes.
Thank you. We need a resolution to approve Huffman and Sons Electric for the 2020-2021 snow removal and maintenance. This will be a 2-year contract. Do I hear a motion? I have a motion by Lee. Do I have a second?
I'll move.
Second by Tim. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee, Anthony,
Yes.
Homer.
Yes. We need a resolution to approve Tim Livengood as a volunteer assistant junior high football coach. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second? I'll second that one. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee, Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim.
Abstain.
Next, we need a motion to approve North Central Schools 2021 fall sports plan with revisions. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
Have a motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second? I'll second. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Lee, Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane.
Yes.
Next, we need to,
Hey, Homer, Megan Hausch is here from Wedco, and she was going to do a little discussion of this for us so that
okay,
before we go, and she's sitting right on here. She
okay.
showed up tonight to help us out with this. Go ahead, Megan.
All right, you guys even got me on vacation day. I just got back just a couple hours ago, back to Bryan. So thanks for having me this evening. Homer, feel free to chime in and add anything to it that you like. I'm excited to share with you guys. Pioneer Custom Molding is proposing to construct a 22,000 square foot addition. They're investing in some equipment and automation. They'll be creating about a half a dozen new jobs. Very excited about this project. The total maximum estimated construction value for the addition is about 2.1 million. An additional 220,000 in building and improvements, about 900,000 in equipment, for a total overall project investment estimated at $3.2 million. We are requesting a 100% tax abatement for a period of 10 years. The estimated school donation on that 10-year basis, the annual will be approximately $15,000 to North Central Schools. The school donation agreement we've shared with you has the estimated savings percent that North Central will get is 35%. And just so you are all aware, for County Career Center is also receiving a school donation agreement for this project at 4%. Again, North Central will be receiving approximately $15,000 a year once this project is done. So that's the short and sweet of everything. Does anyone have any questions for me or for Homer?
You have more answers than I do, Megan.
Glad I can help out.
Thank you. Any questions?
No,
We are
Thank you.
requesting to waive the 45-day waiting period. That's something we typically do anyway, but in this case, it's extra time sensitive because the company would like to break ground towards the beginning of October. So we're cutting it pretty close with our timeline to help Pioneer Custom Molding out. And again, they've been great to the community. They want to continue to be able to reinvest in their employees and continue to invest in the community.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming, Megan. That was awesome. And I appreciate your explanation. So everybody knows where we're at.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
And to make everything perfectly clear for everybody, what Megan was talking about, Pioneer Custom Molding is my brother's company. So, and I do work there. So with that being said, I need a motion to approve the enterprise zone agreement waiver of the 45-day notification. Do I have a motion?
I will move.
I have a motion by Tim. Do I have a second? Seconded by Lee. Questions, comments? None? Call roll, please.
Anthony,
yes.
Homer,
Abstain.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee.
Okay. And then we also have the second motion for the school donation agreement of Pioneer Custom Molding, TW Enterprises, Enterprise Zone Agreement, 35% of the projected tax savings. Do I hear a motion?
I'll motion.
I have a motion by Shane. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Anthony. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Homer,
Abstain.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee, Anthony.
Yes.
Thank you. As board president and as a committed employee, I appreciate this. Consent agenda. We need to approve supplemental contracts for Crystal Gillespie, Jeff Hutke, along with classified employees Matt Bowles, Lindsey Brown, Michaela Knapp, Tammy Launebarger, Teresa Worley. We also have the disposal of some textbooks, the substitute list of teachers and paraprofessionals from the Northwest Ohio Educational Service Center dated August 26, 2020. We need to also approve the van driver meeting transportation requirements for the 2021 school year. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
I have a motion by Tim. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shane. Questions, comments? Call roll, please.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane,
Yes.
Lee, Anthony,
Yes.
Homer.
Yes. Any reason for executive session?
No.
Anyone here? No? All right, with that being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move.
A motion by Anthony. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Shane. 7:40. Call roll, or no comments, I'm sure. Call roll, please.
Lee,
Yes.
Anthony,
Yes.
Homer,
Yes.
Tim,
Yes.
Shane.
Yes.
I wish to say that we're adjourned now. I want to thank everyone that has participated. And I'm glad that you are supporting us,
Homer,
watching us.
I know we adjourned. We didn't.
Well,
Did
we
you
forgot
get?
to ask questions. You're right,
Yeah.
Anthony. We're gonna stop for a second. We got any questions that we need to answer? And I also want to also say from the board, thank you to the sixth graders for all their thank you cards for the playground. Any questions or comments that we need to answer? Mr. Smeltzer, Mr. Hannick?
I do not have any.
Miss Myers, did she get any? Sometimes they pop up on Facebook.
Mrs. Myers?
She didn't send any. Okay.
With that being said, we are adjourned. And I will see you all next month. And I'm sure we'll be talking before then. Have a
Thank you.
wonderful evening.
Thank you.